So I've noticed something. Some conversations don't actually go anywhere. They don't go anywhere. And once you notice it, you can't unsee it. So you can be talking to someone, right? Going back and forth, and it feels like a conversation is happening. Um, but nothing is actually moving. And you don't always catch it right away. It's usually after when you're thinking back on the conversation and you're like, what do we actually get from that? Because a lot of conversations aren't about understanding, okay? They're about responding, they're about making a point, got to get that point across, and they're about being heard. And so when both people are trying to do that at the same time, the conversation just stays stuck in the same place, back and forth, same ideas, just different words are being used. And the thing is, most people don't even realize that it's even happening while you're in it. Okay. Because in the moment, it feels like a normal conversation because no one's yelling. No one has walked away from it. Um, so it doesn't feel like anything is wrong, but it still feels off. Something is off about this conversation. And you can usually feel it before you can explain it. It's that moment that you pause inside and kind of think, wait, what are we even talking about right now? um, because you don't say it, you just keep going. You just keep going at that point. And sometimes it's not even about a disagreement, it's about being on the same page. And so you're talking about one thing, and they're responding from a completely different place. And now the conversation has shifted without either of you even noticing it. And the longer it goes on like that, the harder it is to bring back the conversation. Um, because now you've had to stop and say, wait, that's not what I meant. And most people don't like doing that. We don't like stopping and saying, hey, that's not what I meant. So instead, you adjust. You go along with what they're saying and you try to clarify without actually stopping the conversation. And it's okay to do that. And when that doesn't happen, you've moved away from the original point. And that's where the frustration comes from. Not just because what's being said, but because what didn't get said. Um, and once you start noticing this, you realize something else, that a conversation, it can look completely normal on the outside, right? And still be so disconnected on the inside. And that's the part that people don't always talk about because everything, it looks fine, but it doesn't feel right. There's no real shift. And let's be real, right? You can feel when that's happening. You may not always say it, but you can still feel it. And that little bit of frustration right there that you feel, that feeling's like, we're not getting anywhere. We're not getting anywhere. And the thing is, it's not always obvious in the moment because technically you got two people that are talking, you got two people that are responding. So it feels like communication is happening. We're communicating, but it's not moving forward. And that's the part that most people miss because real conversation has direction. It goes somewhere. Something changes, even if it's a small change. But when it doesn't, it just feels draining. It's like I spent all this time talking without actually making that connection. Okay. So have you ever had a moment where you're like, okay, we're just going in circles now. We're going round and round in circles. No one's getting to the point and no one is making a point. Um, and this is the part that's easy to miss. Just because people are talking doesn't mean anything is actually being understood. So sometimes it's not about saying more, right? It's about shifting how you're listening. And if nothing is moving, then something needs to change because conversations aren't just about talking, they're about movement.